Let's see. What else is going on with me? The past week, I decided. So I saw that a lot of people are ranting and raving about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I thought that was really strange because that is a peak Eurojank like RPG. And then I realized that I had kickstarted the first game, played it for 4 hours, went, yeah, this needs more time in the oven, and then just left it completely unplayed for 6.5 years. So first of all, for open world RPGs, now something that you can be familiar with, Wooly, the best time to play them is when they are talking or releasing the sequel, because then it'll be done.
The original, that is.
Right. So like Cyberpunk, is it done? They patched it like a couple weeks ago.
After I started. After my first...
Come on, you waited so long.
After my first session, there was a new patch with new content.
Yeah. You waited so long, and still. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 has been taking up my time lately, and it is such a fascinating, fucking weird game that I am so in love with. I love what it is doing. It is, its jank has been overstated, I believe. Like, genuinely. Like, yeah, there's a bug here. There's a little mechanical interaction that's gone off here. But overall, it's been pretty solid. It is the Virtua Fighter of open world RPGs.
How so?
What should Virtua Fighter be, Wooly, above all other things?
Boring.
That's right. It should be fucking boring.
Okay.
So, Kingdom Come Deliverance takes place in 15th century Bohemia, which would later become the Czech Republic, in 1403, in the most mundane setting I have ever encountered in any game. You are playing Henry Dirt Farmer fuckhead of Skalitz, and you are a uneducated, bad at everything peasant.
This is not a fantasy medieval game. This is
1403 Bohemia.
This
like
is
north
just
of Prague,
medieval.
I think.
Okay.
This is anti-fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
This is like History Channel core.
So Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the codex is just explaining to you the Mass Effect style codex that explains all these little details you might be unfamiliar with. That is, here's what the fuck a charcoal burner is as a profession. I didn't know there was such a fucking thing as a charcoal burner. What the fuck is that?
I've heard it as a slur.
Here's the term women. And then it's like 3,000 words about like the rights and responsibilities and whatnot in women of the society within this country, etc.
Okay.
So now that you're playing Cyberpunk, and have you seen Oblivion in your life?
I've seen it.
Okay. Think of that. First person perspective, melee combat, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have your skills, which go up as you use them. So, sword fighting goes up as you use it. Sneaking goes up as you use it. Archery goes up as you use it, etc. Right? The difference here at the beginning is that since you are a dirt peasant, like 18-year-old, you start the game at a profound mechanical disadvantage compared to, I would say, nearly every single game ever made. Step one, can't read.
Nice.
Can't read.
Nice. Yep. Okay.
Why would you be able to fucking read?
So also like stats, like magic is not going to be a stat, right?
The skills are hunting, archery, sword fighting, drinking, stealth,
Nice. Okay.
lock picking, pickpocketing, etc.
Okay.
Right? It is mundane. It is mundane to the extreme. And so, your first little tutorial interactions are, hey, dad wants you to go get some money from a guy who owes him. Go get some beer from the tavern. And that's it. Oh, and get some charcoal. That's it. That's your starting point. Like the most mundane son of a blacksmith day possible.
Now, it wouldn't be a video game if there weren't a hint of nobility that you could aspire to.
That's right. But that's later.
Okay.
So your start is, okay, the guy won't pay me money. Do you want to try and convince him with your speech? Failed, because you're an idiot. Do you want to fist fight him? No. He's a 35, 40-year-old man, and he beats your ass into the dirt. The fight is bordering on totally unwinnable. Okay, I'll go talk to my friend, and I'll get a lockpick, and then I will go and try and sneak into his house and pick the lock to get some of his money, right? You then encounter the most difficult lockpicking minigame I have ever played in any game, because the instant you touch anything outside like the fancy zone for lockpicking, the lockpick just breaks, which causes a noise, which causes the guy to come into his house and beat on you.
Okay.
And the reason why is that when you are below level 5 in anything, you are not just bad at it, you are not just unskilled. You are an active threat to yourself due to your incompetence.
Okay. Worse than actually trying.
The best example here is trying to shoot a bow and arrow in this game is misery, because there's no reticle. The bow is constantly moving around. Even if there was a reticle, the arrow does not exactly go where you think it will. And if you try and shoot a bow and arrow below level 5 in archery and you don't have gauntlets on, you're so bad at it that the bowstring will snap back and slash you.
Oh, fuck.
And you'll do health damage to yourself.
Yeah, okay. You have negative skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, it has an extremely in-depth and good pickpocketing mechanic. It has great lockpicking. It has good realistic sneaking. It has very, very weird combat in which you are there's a circle where you're aiming your attacks to 5 points with a lot of parrying and blocking and stuff. But because you start out dog shit at everything, it forces you to engage in the game mechanically in a bunch of ways that you wouldn't normally have to. So in order to actually get the stuff back from Tutorial Man, I had to do another quest to enlist my friends to help me beat on him in a big group.
Okay. So how long before you stop bumbling about and just dying and eating shit at all times?
I would say the tutorial, and your village gets destroyed by the Hungarians because it has to, right?
History.
I would say it's about 5 to 10 hours before you acquire a certain level of generalized skill in enough things that you feel like you're a capable character. There's a really interesting thing that happens with this game, and I think it really sums up the experience of how you would have to take it seriously. So you can't fight for shit. There's early combat in the game, and it is incredibly difficult to the point of being impossible. So run. Don't fight anybody. You can't beat a soldier. You're a peasant, right? At some point, you are offered a man-at-arms will teach you how to fight. So you go and do the fighting tutorial, right? And a lot of people go, I now know how to fight. I will now go and, start adventuring in 1403 Bohemia. That is not good enough. You barely know how to fight, and bandits tear you up. The thing that I did, which is apparently the smart thing, is keep practicing with that guy for like 90 minutes until you are actually really good at the combat and you raise your stats.
Practicing as in you yourself are learning how it works, or your character is
Both.
increasing numbers? Okay.
Both. Like with practice swords.
Okay.
Like you lab it out and how things work and how combos work and how the different attacks, different parts of the body work and all that stuff.
Okay. So for all of this, that sounds really interesting. I'm curious then, is this a game where combat is important? It's a weird question, but some RPGing you can do in some cases without a ton of combat, right?
Achievement for this game.
Okay.
And running away is always viable.
Okay.
Outside of like I think a single mandatory scripted fight in the entire game.
So because it sounds like, you know, it sounds realistic in that it's hard to be competent at anything. So can you just become a really good after dinner raconteur that can talk your way out of trouble and, you know?
So I've been playing. I played the game for about 43 hours, and I would say I have fought like 18 times outside of like a tournament that I join, like Bandits on the Road. Like it is. There are like 5 to 10 hour stretches of no combat at all.
Okay.
Depending on what you're doing, which meant that I would be doing something like breaking into people's houses at night. Doing, you know, quests going here and there. And the quests are a really good example of where this game shines because the quests are like hilariously mundane. They are like laughably simple in context. Hey man, the refugees are starving. Can you get us some rabbit to eat? Is one of the first quests I acquired, which is very simple, except for the part where game in 1403 Bohemia is the property of the king, which means all hunting is poaching.
Oh.
So you go into the woods and wander around for like 15 goddamn minutes because I can't find rabbits for shit. And then okay, you know what? I'm going to shoot the rabbit with my arrow. Fuck, it's really hard. It's really fucking hard to shoot the rabbit with my arrow. Okay, I've killed the rabbit. I now need 2 more. Okay, I've done that. Now I have to get back to town before this meat spoils. Fuck.
Okay.
And while I'm doing that, you have integrated hunger and sleep mechanics.
Yeah.
Where I'm now hungry enough that my stamina is shit.
Okay.
And when you get sleepy enough, your camera starts to get away from you. It starts to drift outside your control. And when you are real low on sleep, the screen will intermittently, like eyelids will come down over the fucking screen and you will like kind of nod off and black out while you're walking around.
Okay. So this is for like, give me a shitty middle-aged simulator. Yeah.
I want a simulator.
Dirt face life, just horrible. Everything sucks.
A bunch of quests are timed and they don't tell you they're timed. You're just an idiot if you didn't realize it was timed. Mm-hmm. So like, hey, we got to take care of those sick and wounded here. Well, I ignored that for a while because it wasn't on my priority. And now one of those sick and wounded's dead. Because of course they did. Why would they not die? They're dying of poison.
And I guess like what is the pitch as to like where this goes? Do you become a knight?
Far, I have moved from dirt peasant to squire.
Okay.
And kind of working my way up.
Has the studio Warhorse, are they like a collection of ex-devs from something?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have absolutely no idea. So I'll use a different quest as like a really good example of like the kind of thing that this game does extremely well. Your local executioner is really pissed off because they're bringing in a out-of-town executioner for high-profile criminals. which is money out of his pocket, but it's also like personally embarrassing to him. So he goes, here's what we're going to do. We are going to sabotage the executions so that the guy they brought in from Gutenberg looks like a fucking fool, and then they'll never have anybody but me do the executions here, right? So step one is go to the local bailiff and find out what were these guys actually arrested for, which requires a speech check. Okay, I've gotten their names and crimes. Now, the next step is I have to go into the black book inside the bailiff's office and read the historical precedent of existing crimes and their punishments, and if they were a nobleman or a lowborn. So I broke in and I snuck in, and luckily I was able to read the book because I went on the side quest to learn how to read. So then you read, and it's a historical document of what types of crimes people get killed for. Okay, it's a hanging, it's a chopping block, and it's a torture kill. Okay, back to the executioner. How are we going to sabotage this? All right, we'll poison the torturing tongs so the guy dies right away. We'll blunt the sword of the executioner so the chop takes multiple tries. And we'll replace his rope with rotten rope so that the guy, when he gets hung, it snaps and he gets away.
Yeah, okay.
So now I have to go in the dead of night. It doesn't say go in the dead of night, but that's when people are asleep. To the executioner's camp, sneak in, steal the sword out of the chest, go back to town, use the grinding wheel that you use to upgrade your weapons,
manually degrade
it up on purpose.
Oh, wow.
Like fail the mini game on purpose.
Okay.
Then take it back, put it back in the chest that you found. Then go and poison the tongs. Oh, wait, did you learn how to make poison? Okay, before this, go to an alchemist, learn how to make poison. Then go through the alchemy mini game, which is literally it's run it at a boil, pick this, put it in, check the book, pick this, put it in, cool it to a certain thing, put it. Okay, got poison. Go poison the tongs, then replace the rope, and then he says, "Okay, great, it's done. Meet me tomorrow for the fucking execution." I go to the execution too early, and you can watch every single fucking peasant in town walk the like 2 kilometers to the execution site. It took them like 6 hours. So I waited in place and got so hungry my character almost died.
Jesus Christ. It's one
and
of
then
the
you get the cutscene of the execution.
Yeah, this game is for a certain kind of person. This is
and it is
oh boy, okay.
Its mundanity is like belying the fact that you have to engage with every single thing mechanically.
What would happen if you accepted
all really solid?
What would happen if you accepted that quest but didn't know how to do any of those things?
Then I would fail it.
Okay.
So the first point of failure
wait for
is you get the executions wrong.
Yeah.
And then the execution goes off without a hitch because you sabotage the wrong instruments.
Okay.
And then the guy who did the quest is like, "Oh, come on." I ran into a quest that had me try to find a new house for somebody, but I didn't like them, so I killed their extended family. And when I went back, my character had a dialogue where it was, "Hey, I found your extended family and they're happy to take you in," which I had convinced them. But then I decided to kill them. And then Henry adds then, "Oh, but they died. Sorry." And it altered the trajectory of the fucking quest accordingly. Like it is the most immersive sim open world RPG I have ever played. And it is jank, and there are mechanical problems. And there are like all these little annoyances. The number one of which is they want you to change your outfit constantly because you don't just have like armor. You also have conspicuousness.
Okay.
It has a status for conspicuousness because the sneakiest clothes at night are all black. But if you are in all black in the middle of the town square,
you're super sus.
Next to somebody's door and you're covered in mud, they're going to be like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Get the fuck away from my house."
I guess So it sounds almost, when you're describing that level of complexity to a quest, it sounds almost like either A, this is a like meta quest with multiple parts to it, or B, it's expected that a lot of people are going to fail this, and then you kind of just bumble past
Depending on what order you would do things, it is expected that you would make like big mistakes a lot.
Okay, and then once you fail, that's the state you're in, and then we keep it moving, right? Yeah. Okay, got it. Failure is expected in cases. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's just how it goes, and you don't get the good reward and all that.
This is the first one you're describing, right?
This is the first one. The second one is a massive improvement, and the second one is a massive improvement in the way that I am so glad I'm playing the first one, because if I played the second one first, going back to the first one would be impossible.
A lot of because I'm hearing about the second one just from it's current and. I mean, there's things about like, oh, Unreal Engine is shit, and hearing about the director complaining about like that, which is on the docket somewhere there. The improvements overall are like, well, or rather, was the second one Kickstarter as well, or was it a?
No, second one was made with money from sales of the first one.
Okay.
So it's bigger, better, etc.
Mm-hmm.
There's something really funny about the way the second game works, because the second game looks way better, but it also runs way better. Like, it's not just like it is visually a lot prettier.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much better optimized that the second game runs better.
Okay. I saw someone say that like you have to take showers and you have to like
you have to clean your clothes.
So there's a survival game to that there too. Yeah. Okay.
The smart thing that they did here is like, I don't know if so you haven't played many open world RPGs, but there's a tendency for something like Skyrim or Oblivion is people mod in hunger mechanics. Because that's like a cool thing that a lot of people want to interact with, and they mod in sleep mechanics. And what I have found in my time playing those types of mods is that they are horribly overtuned, and they are oppressive.
The person who, if you're modding in hunger, it's because you want to experience the mechanic, and thus it'll happen frequently. I'm going to guess that.
Whereas in Kingdom Come Deliverance, it's like, listen, every 2 hours of game time, 3 hours of game time, take a nap. If you find food off a fucking bandit you killed, and your character is starving, fucking eat something.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think I enjoy games where hunger is, or not hunger, but eating is for buffs, but not like
it is
mandatory.
The buff is that you have your full
that you stay
available.
alive. Yeah, exactly.
You want the really big one? If you're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep tons of food in my inventory, and I'm just gonna eat like as much food as I can so that the rolling, food buff goes over. Well, if your food goes over 100, you get the overeaten debuff, and it's the same debuff as hunger in the other direction. And it has a little piggy icon next to your stamina.
God.
It ticks down because you're a little piggy.
Yeah, you have to keep it in the magic spot. God. There's a character that has one of those mechanics where you overeating is bad as well. I forget.
Is it Sin?
Did Sin have the overeat? No, I'm thinking. Not. It's somewhere else maybe, but.
Yeah, it's go to a town. Are you filthy? Clean up. Are your arms and armor covered in blood? Clean up. Is your shit damaged? Repair it. Are you hungry? Eat. Are you sleepy? Sleep. And it's all like mechanically intermingled in a really interesting way. Probably the most interesting thing about all of that is that, when you go to buy things or talk to quest givers, you will get a very negative reaction if you are covered in human viscera. But if you try to intimidate someone covered in human viscera, you get a massive bonus.
Oh yeah, okay. Right.
Because you have guts on you.
So I guess like for all of this, is there a mechanical? Because like I guess is the RPG and kind of like on a Baldur's Gate level where you're
no. The RPGing is perk based.
Okay.
So Cyberpunk, Oblivion, Skyrim, and the perks are excellent. Like the perks are fucking fantastic. There ones that jump off the top of my head is you can pick locks better when you're drunk, but it makes more noise.
Okay.
Which then led to me always keeping beer on my person. So when I wanted to break into a house, I would have a little
Get a
sip
little lit
before I would drink something. Which then led to me getting a level in drinking, which I then option selected for prefers beer. So beer gets me half drunk, but wine is now gets me drunk twice as fast.
Wow. To that level. Jesus Christ.
And the various combat stuff, but also like, hey, is your character a savage? You get stat bonuses out in the wilderness, you get stat decreases in cities.
Mm-hmm. What's going on with the save system?
I'm sorry?
What's going on with the save system?
It's increment.
So consumable saves that you must go find.
And or you can exit the game and save on exit.
Oh fuck. God damn.
So,
okay. All right.
So
right.
I have now played enough of the game.
Wow.
That I had modded the save system out and just given myself quick save. I'm now deep enough into the game that I'm going to mod it out and go back to ink ribbons or savior snaps for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of the crime systems only work on the assumption that you're just going to have to deal with the problem that you created. And the second one is that the save system is built to encourage your character to learn how to read and learn to brew the save potion yourself. With alchemy.
Okay. But
the other thing, and this is really important because the first game had some stops and starts on this. Originally, when the first game came out, you did not have save on exit. It was hope you have the fucking item or you're near a friendly bed.
Or you can't turn the fucking game off.
That is too far.
Yes, that's insane.
That is way too far.
As someone who's gone through fucking save and hunger, fear and hunger, that takes it from wow, this is challenging to this is not fun. That's insane. Yeah, okay.
The second thing is that the second game, from people that I've spoke to, you just find a lot more of them around. Like, it's still a limited resource, but it's not a precious resource. And to the game's credit, the reason I modded it out was because, open world games crash all the time. It has crashed on me once in 43 hours. So, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm going to mod the savior snaps back out. It's fascinating. I had a different mod, which was when you pick flowers in that game, your character crouches down, picks the flower in third person, and pulls back up, and it takes forever. It's like a 5-second animation per flower for herbalism. That's ridiculous. But then when I leveled it up to level 5, 6, 7, all of a sudden when you do that animation to pick a flower, you are scooping up every flower in like a 10-foot radius of your character.
Okay.
So it's like all these little annoying mechanical foibles are there to make you appreciate your level of skill increase.
Slow or like picking versus like blah 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 blah. I feel like a big part of whether or not something like this could be a lot of fun for me would be, can you fail through the game and keep going? You know?
Totally.
Okay.
So, like, for example,
bumbling about, not pulling this off, but moving from quest to quest and advancing is a possibility.
As long as your skills go up, and as long as you don't outright fail the main quests, yeah, absolutely.
Great. Okay.
Like one of the things, like I robbed a lot of houses in that game. I like to sneak into people's houses and take their shit. I got caught a couple times, and the jail time penalty is pretty severe. It is they put you in jail, they take all your stolen shit back, and time advances while you're in jail. So if you had any quests that were timed, say those goodbye.
Yikes.
And for every day that you are in jail, you will have a day of decreased stats coming out of jail. So if I'm in jail for 1 day for pickpocketing, for one full 24-hour period after getting out of jail, my stats will be decreased by 20% across the board.
Okay.
Because being in jail is hard.
Mm-hmm. Do you get like people or a group or followers or any sort of like?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You get a dog named Mutt.
Sick.
The dog. So then the dog is part of the Houndmaster skill, which means you can teach the dog to hunt for you. You can teach the dog to sick anybody that you want. My dog has now been upgraded to have an increased chance of bleeding. Sorry, like causing like blood loss on enemies.
Okay, yeah.
Probably the ballsiest thing the game does is the combat is really difficult because it is a 1v1 combat system where tons of enemies attack you simultaneously. So like when somebody comes at you, like the camera like first person locks onto them. Mm-hmm. And you have your radial window for like attack their head or attack their feet. Mm-hmm. But his friends are coming around to like attack you from the side. So large group confrontations have you kind of unlocked, and you are always backing up going as different guys are trying to get outside your field of vision. And it looks really, it's really frantic, and it works really well for like, this feels like I'm being jumped by a bunch of goons.
In For Honor,
so
when you're dueling somebody,
until I can, bot one.
In For Honor, when you're dueling somebody and like some shit comes from left, and you're like, ah!
Yeah, you have to unlock.
Yeah, you're like, oh God,
it is just like that.
Right,
It is just like that.
Nice.
It is a fucking cool game that I would recommend to tons of people who like an RPG with a lot of mechanical depth. This is way more in-depth mechanically than CD Projekt's games and Bethesda's games. Like, all the systems intermingling with each other is fucking fascinating. It is awesome.
Is it mainly about the mechanical elements of it, or is there like a story or plot?
Oh, there's absolutely a story, and the dialogue and the writing is absolutely like very interesting and very well done. It's also like hilariously mundane. Okay, because a lot of this is about the mechanical depth, but I'm curious if it's compelling, Oh yeah, no, Henry's story is very interesting. The core premise of the game is that you built a really nice sword for the local nobleman, and then a local army attacked and razed your village. And in the ensuing chaos, you got your parents killed, and you saw the guy who did it, and you lost the sword that you forged to a bandit. And the main quest is, I have to get that goddamn sword back from that bandit, but I don't know where he is. Damn. You even have like the guy you made the sword for going, dude, it's not important. It's just a sword. And your character's like, no, I have to get it. It's important. My dad made it. And then you have to do things by a certain timeline, otherwise history happens. Yeah, well, history's going to happen. Yeah, like it's in like a conflict of powers in the Holy Roman Emperor in 1403. Oh God, not the Holy Roman Empire. God. Yeah. One of the first things that you find is like a German guy arguing with some Czechs at the bar, and they're making fun of him because like, so which pope do you follow? How many popes do you guys even have right now? They weren't holy, nor Roman, nor an empire. Yeah, well, fuck that. I saw someone in the chat describe it as peasant Shenmue, and you know what? That's a decent sell. Good. I like that. I saw folks talking about how when I described it or played it, that it reminded them of Red Dead Redemption. So it was a little strange that my complaints about Red Dead Redemption 2 are not being echoed here. And that is for two really simple reasons. In Red Dead, you don't actually have a lot of mechanical depth to any of the things you do. A lot of the things that you would do in Red Dead are actually just cutscenes, skinning,
building a house,
stuff like that. When the game asks you to go through a quest in Kingdom Come Deliverance and say brew a potion, brewing a potion is really hard in this game. You have to set up the different ingredients on the shelf correctly. You have to learn how to read so you can read the recipe book. And by the way, until your reading is high enough, it's still littered with spelling errors because you're not reading it good.
Oh God!
Then you have to pump the bellows to boil it. You have to time with an hourglass how long you boil specific ingredients. It's a whole
you're describing crafting with extra steps, and I'm dying. I'm dying inside. Oh my God, that sounds horrible.
One of the things that has made me so glad I'm not playing the second game first is the second game has a crafting mechanic for blacksmithing, and that crafting mechanic is get a slab of iron, manually heat it, and manually pump the bellows. Now put it on the thing and then take your hammer and aim to even it out correctly along the hot spots.
Okay, that's cool
over
though.
The whole sword.
Yeah, okay, but forging a blade is rad though. That's cool. But mixing concoctions, I'm dying, dude. I can't.
Well, if you don't learn to mix concoctions, you're not going to be able to learn how to get the respec potion, which is just really strong alcohol.
Okay.
The respec potion is you are crafting like super moonshine, and it causes you to black out and forget all your perks. But if you use it, you run a percentage chance of developing instantaneous alcoholism, which will fuck your shit up unless you're drunk all the time.
Just go blind. Fucking. Okay.
It is fucking fascinating. So before you drink the lithium potion, which is super booze, you can do one of two things. You can get a hair of the dog potion, which will cure your alcoholism, or you can dilute the lithium potion into drinking water, which gets you 5 potion infused drinking waters, which don't have enough alcohol content to cause you to suffer from alcoholism.
What is the task time for, like, let's say, like doing something like a concoction like that versus kind of like quest completion? Are you spending more time on the mundane?
It is so
open,
wildly variable.
Okay.
There are a bunch of quests, bang out 4 minutes.
Okay.
It's this guy at the end of town, this other guy at the end of town. Talk. Could you speech check it? Talk. Right?
Because like you can play like
the execution quest that I described. If you included the steps, which are learn to read and learn to brew potions, that thing was like 3 hours. That thing was crazy. It was and also none of the people involved have fast travel points anywhere near them, so you have to just hoof it on your horse.
Is there any part of this that's like home building or construction or like stuff like that, or like settlement building?
There's a DLC that added a town that you rebuild.
Okay. But it's not a main game mechanic though.
No, it's not a main game. You're mainly just like getting beds. And, friends will let you stay with them.
Because you can, like, if you like Pal World, you could spend all day just managing your shit, or you can go out.
No, it is very much like go out and do, not stay home and build.
Okay.
It is so fucking fascinating. It is so interesting. It is like every single minute that I spend with the game, I am doing some interesting little piece of gameplay that I'm crazy about it. It's so goddamn interesting. It is such a cool game. It is also occasionally really mean. Like I got
out of save rooms.
I fucking fast traveled somewhere, and I in the middle of the night I got attacked by bandits, and they pulled me off my horse. And before my character could stand up, I had lost 60-70% of my health because they pull you off the horse, and then they start beating you during the you falling off the horse animation. Because of course they would. And I barely, and I mean bare, like within a sliver of health, survived that encounter. And if I had not survived that, I would have lost like an hour of progress.
So I was going to say, you go back to the last time you slept?
The last time you slept, the last time you got your clothes laundered, the last time you used a save your snaps, which is the usable thing. So when I play the second game, I'm going to leave the save system alone. I think the game probably plays better with it intact.
Okay. All right.
What an incredibly cool game.
Now I know what type of people are getting excited when I hear about this game coming up now.
I would genuinely recommend that if anything about this interests anyone, to try it, because all the little pieces are interesting and fun, and they combine into a bunch of really, really cool and interesting ways.
Mm-hmm. I think the bit about the executioner's like quest there sounds really complex, and that's probably the most interesting part.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, I couldn't imagine every quest has that level of
no,
in depth, decision making.
But it's this kind of thing where like very, very, very simple requests get like very turn out to be much more mechanically difficult.
Right.
Like I got a quest to weed a guy's garden, and it was actually really difficult to select the correct weeds. And then I ended up in my inventory with like 300 flowers that I could sell.
Okay.
It is fucking great. It is great. I'm so glad I'm playing the first one first, and then I'm going to roll right into the second one.
Kingdom Come, not
Deliverance 1.
Not Alex Ross Superman.
No.
Okay.
No, not that.
All right.
1403 Bohemia sucks, by the way. It sucks to live there.
Yeah, I'm good on any year that doesn't start with a 9 as the
Woolie,
second digit.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm good.
You don't have to worry about that at all, because you are hilariously unrepresented in the game.
Well,
there was actually a big kerfuffle because the head dev of the studio, Warhorse, is like a massive shithead.
Mm-hmm.
There is not even a single person of color at all in the whole game.
We're in that,
which is weird because like there's Turks in the story. Like
we're in that part of the world.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all there is to it. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm looking through these screenshots. I see what's going on. There could always. This is the type of game where I'd be like, "Oh, there's one, and there's a big quest about it."
Woolie,
is what I would expect.
You know what you just described Witcher 1 and Witcher 3.
Oh, okay.
In which there's like literally one person of color in the entire game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm looking at this dude's haircut right here, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I think.
Oh, you totally just spoiled something for me with that screenshot.
I'm sorry. It was on the Steam page. Oh, it was on the Steam page. It's a screenshot on the Steam page. I'm sorry.
On the second game?
Yeah. Oh shit.
That's so fucking funny. Holy shit.
Oh, damn. Okay. I'm sorry. I literally just went to the screenshots on Steam.
No, hey, listen, to be fair, I got spoiled on something in my stream, and it was maybe the funniest interaction I've ever had with a chat member, in which I was making jokes about two characters becoming gay and kissing, and then someone asked me in the chat, "Oh, did Pat get spoiled on the second game?" And I went, "What?
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
Vacation in this, what?
Yeah, they picked our promo material and chose that for some reason. All right,
Yeah.
well.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so funny. That's so fucking funny. Oh,
I can imagine.
well, that's cool.
Well, now I can imagine. Yeah, I guess.
well, that's cool, actually.
All right. Well,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's what I've been playing, like, exclusively. I can't get enough of it. I can't. It's so goddamn amazing.
okay.
And then I hear little bits and pieces of the second game, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Like, hey, you know what? In the second game, if you steal and murder enough, the town will brand you in the village square so that everyone knows to fucking
you're a thief.
ignore you. And the only way to wash the stink of the brand is to go to a priest and agree to go on a holy pilgrimage and walk the length of the map to a holy site
Wow.
to redeem yourself in the eyes of the Christian Lord.
Wow. Okay.